How can you build early literacy skills while reading with your child? Let me show you a simple way to do that using the book Brown Bear, What Do You See? I'm Dr. Sheila Tate, a reading methods instructor, and I work with future teachers on how to teach reading effectively in real classrooms. So today, I'm going to use the book Brown Bear, What Do You See by Bill Martin Jr. and Eric Carle. You should be able to find this book at your local public library. So before you start reading, you could take a moment to point out the title of the book and read it with your child. You could also point out the author and the illustrator of the book and model how to hold the book, where to start reading. These small steps help build print awareness with your child. With this book, I'm going to focus on listening for patterns in language and predicting what comes next. Now, you can obviously just read this book aloud with your child and point out certain things, but if you start to begin to point out patterns in sentences and how things repeat, it will build that word recognition with your child. So, for example, as I start to read, I'll say, brown bear, what do you see? You might pause and say, well, I'm noticing that this book repeats the same pattern. So as you go through this book, you'll notice it'll say, what do you see? On each page, it asks the question, what do you see? So as you're reading, you might stop and say, red bird, what do you? And then let your child fill in the word see. So you could also pause and say, I see a yellow duck looking at me, and let your child guess and then finish the sentence. Then you might think aloud and say, I thought it might say that because this book keeps using the same pattern. This helps children start to hear patterns in language and build confidence joining into the reading. You don't need to stop for long, just pause briefly, let your child join in, and then continue reading. Hearing the repeated patterns helps children develop their oral language skills and phonological awareness, which are important foundations for learning to read. If you remember one thing, it's this: use books with repetition to help your child hear patterns, predict language, and actively participate while reading. If you have a literacy question, feel free to share it. I'd love to answer it in a future video.